give that vote.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
What is up? It is a getaway game for the Kings. They end their 4-game road trip tonight in Miami, coming off of a difficult, I think difficult's the right word, loss in Miami, or excuse me, in Toronto. We'll talk about it on the other side. I went back, watched the tape on that one, got some additional thoughts. Want to hear from all of you. We've got you covered start to finish tonight on If You Don't Like That. Welcome to the pregame show.
Late nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we ride strong and proud. Running up the score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
Welcome back in. Ryan in Sacktown with you, getting you ready for the Kings and the Heat. Tonight from Miami. Bane, what's up, dude? We might need a dose of Alex Len to soak up Bam. Bam had a big night against Washington in Mexico City. 32 points for Bam Adebayo. Kevin Huerter will be out again tonight, so we'll see what Mike Brown does with the starting lineup. He explained that in the post-game press conference after the Toronto game. Pretty much what we hinted at. The spacing was the big thing that he was looking at, and he didn't want to have to change two different units, the starting unit and the bench unit. And bringing Doug off the bench, that doesn't change the bench typically. That changes the starting unit, so therefore only one unit. But we'll get you news on that. We'll keep our eye to it. You guys can hit us up in the chat if there's breaking news on that as well. Miami, now this is a big one for me. They're without Jaime Jaquez tonight. He is going to be out as well. He is kind of one of those hustle guys, a glue guy. He's your prototypical, like, we had a caller bring up NBA 2K the other night on the post-game show. And by the way, the word championship, I know I just said it, like Super Troopers, you know, hey, Farba, what's the name of the restaurant with all that stuff on the walls? Shenanigans. Okay. Championship. Can we settle down on that? After the post-game show last game, it was a little bit too much. So let's try to keep that neutral. I don't mind it here and there, but that shouldn't be the center of the conversation. However, getting back to Jaime Jaquez, if you are building a 2K player to basically, yeah, Kevin Love is out too. He has been out for a while. That is not any breaking news. He's been dealing with something. But anyways, getting back to Jaime Jaquez. Damn it, Bane, messing up my thought process, dude. That's what Bane does here. You know what, Bane? I love you though, bro. You are good here. Always getting in first in the chat. He's the prototypical guy that you would build to be a Kings killer. And just one of those guys off the bench that you don't expect. What Bobby Boucher's brother last night coming off, or a couple nights ago in Toronto, coming off the bench to kill the Kings. That's Jaime Jaquez. He's a hustle guy. He's one of those guys that's got his hand in everything that's going on the court. So Miami is without him tonight as well. Now, the first key to the game for the Kings, undoubtedly the most important key to tonight's game. Stay the hell away from that. Don't go near it. Don't go see it. There are no good vibes coming from that statue. In fact, I thought this whole episode of Pranked would be over by now, but apparently that thing is still up and standing in Miami. So stay away from it. Don't look at it. Don't make eye contact. Just keep your eyes on the court, boys. Don't even think about it. If the Kings do that, they've got a chance to win this one tonight. In all seriously though, I should say. Getting back to Toronto, I want to get into that a little bit more. Also, as I said, want to get you guys into this one as well. Miami, coming off that win against Washington, their last two games, they've held their opponents to 98 points. On the season, they hold their opponents to 106.8 points. That's fifth in the NBA. Offense was an issue for the Kings on, I'm getting my days mixed up, Saturday night against the Raptors. But the bigger issue that I saw watching back the film, and we talked about it a little bit, the pressure that Toronto put on the Kings and put on their ball handlers. That kind of threw the Kings off. It was not good. And I kind of got that feeling that I got a couple of seasons ago. On the edge of your seat, Karen. It's too early to be on the edge of your seat. The Kings win this one. They're 3-1 on the road trip. At worst, they're going back to Sacramento 500. At worst, they're going back to 500. But back to what I was saying, the defense that the Raptors played on Sabonis 2 years ago, it changed the way that teams played Sabonis going forward that season. Now, I'm not going to say the ball pressure that Toronto played on Saturday night is going to change the way that the Kings get played this season, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on that, especially with De'Aaron Fox and the ball handling issues. He had 6 turnovers. Again, 6 turnovers. That is way too many. 5 turnovers. He had 6 the game before. Way too many for De'Aaron. That has got to get reined in. But the Kings overall in Toronto, they just didn't have it. They did not have that bounce in their step. It just wasn't there. And in fact, looking back and rewatching the film, the key moments of the game, the Kings had control of those moments. They did. De'Aaron Fox gambled on 2 huge defensive plays where if that is a game where the Kings have had a couple days of rest coming into it, he probably makes that play. But on the second night of a back-to-back where you had to travel from Atlanta to Toronto, then you have that long rest in between, it doesn't happen. And so what I'm saying is I don't think we should be as down on this team as some were after that one. DeMar DeRozan, who was a monster in the Toronto game, talked a little bit about the delay, talked a little bit about the guys just not having it on Saturday night.
And, it was already a tough, coming from Atlanta back to back. It was a tough game, just trying to get our juices going. And, when we started in the second quarter, towards the end of the second quarter, got a longer halftime, kind of cool down, got to get yourself back going. I wouldn't say it was more so extra juice because, the other team going to bring the juice. So you just try to be as ready as possible.
Coach Brown also, after the game, talked about the pressure.
I thought their pressure, their aggressiveness bothered us. We had 18 turnovers for 26 points, and that was huge. I thought they in the 2 hustle categories that are on the stat sheet in terms of second chance points and fast break points. I mean, it wasn't even close. They outscored us 43 to 29, 27 fast break points, 15, 16 second chance points. That's tough to overcome when you lose both those categories and you also turn the ball over the way we did. And then, like I said, you give Toronto credit. I thought they forced us into taking some tough shots. It was a real stagnant game for us, a lot of one-on-one and a lot of tough shots by our guys. And, you give, like I said, Toronto credit. Boucher had a game off the bench and Agbaji had a game too. So
don't do that. Jimmy Butler's not out, Dre. Come on, Dre. Don't do that, dude. Damn. Don't do that on this show. I get you're trying to be funny, but you will send the chat into a tailspin really quick. You made me double check if something changed before I went to air. Nice try, buddy. But anyways, getting back to that, the 3-pointers, a little bit of an issue for this team so far this season. De'Aaron Fox, 0 for 11 from beyond the arc. And that goes across the board, not just for De'Aaron, even the threes that Keegan Murray was missing. The Kings had great looks against Toronto. They really did. Now, at points in the game, they were rushed. They were very, very rushed. I would say the start at overtime, rushed. There was 2 bad shots to kick it off. You saw that also at times during the fourth quarter when Toronto would go on a couple of runs. But overall, again, the controllables, I didn't see anything other than the pressure. The pressure that Toronto played on Saturday night that the Kings couldn't have corrected, or the Kings, if they would have done what they were supposed to do, would have been able to handle and won that game. So call it what you want to call it, a schedule loss, whatever it may be. Tonight's a new night. They've got to get this done. They've got to end this road trip on the right note, because guess what? You turn around, you have one day off, and then you are back at home against the Toronto Raptors again, and you're going to be facing a lot of pressure in that one. Here's your new Kings overall numbers. Defensive rating has certainly changed a little bit. Pace, right there around the same points. Those still right up there, 119.5 for the Kings. They can score the ball. But again, Miami, 98 points the last 2 games to their opponents. They can play some defense. So can the Kings come out and get good looks? Can they make intentional cuts? Can the spacing be right? Can you maybe get something from Dougie McBuckets? Last game, the bench came alive for the Kings for the most part. Malik Monk had a hell of a game. Now, he had some bad shots too. He's part of that group. Like I said, everybody could have done a little something better. And Malik acknowledged that after the game. He said, we got to look in the mirror. We could have won this. We should have been better. That's on us. Don't disagree with them. You might be a little bit heartburned over the fact that Coach Brown didn't call timeouts, or why is DeMar taking that 3 in the corner? You got to go to the hot hand in that circumstance. So nothing really bothers me there. But again, you're going to have to get more from Trey Lyles. You're going to have to get something more from Dougie McBuckets if he gets those minutes tonight. Does Mike Brown change what he does tonight with the starting lineup and end up going with Keon instead of Dougie McBuckets? The starting lineup for Miami is going to look like this. You're going to have Butler. You're going to have Adebayo, Tyler Hero, who's playing, Terry Rozier, and Jovic. So they are going to have to deal with, again, a team that's still trying to figure it out in Miami. 3-2, only 1-2 at home this year. Miami is a weird place for the Kings to play. And the energy in Miami is also a little weird. It's kind of like Atlanta, not a great sports town, pro sports town, unless it's the playoff times. So what's Coach going to do there? And I was happy to see Trey getting some more looks, like getting himself some looks at the rim. That's going to have to continue on tonight as well. Looking clean with the hair. I appreciate it. Kitchen Handy. Appreciate that. I just threw some, what do they call it? Some texture in it and threw it back. But thank you very much for that. Bane hopping in. We got some JJ Redick vibes here. Oh, Kitchen Handy. Stop it. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about this Miami team. What do they do well? Whoa, we didn't update the Miami graphic. My bad, y'all. We'll just go straight to this one then. What does Miami do well? What don't they do well? Well, we talked about their defense. They're a pretty good defensive team. 106 per night is what they're averaging or allowing their opponents to score. So what's going to give there between the Kings and the Heat tonight? Is it going to be the Kings offense that explodes? Is it going to be the defense that gives them trouble? And I saw the comment about Alex Len. What is Coach Brown going to do tonight to deal with Bam Adebayo? Domantas Sabonis has fouled out in 2 of 6 games this season for Sacramento. So you're going to have to do something. Keegan Murray has been in foul trouble. Malik Monk was in foul trouble. De'Aaron Fox has been in foul trouble. And that goes also to the minutes. The minutes this team has been playing, at least the starters have been playing, far too many minutes. Coach Brown keeps talking about, I don't want to play these guys as much as I have been, but we keep end up seeing the same result, and we keep hearing the same thing from Coach Brown at the end of the day.
No, I mean, we got a day off tomorrow. We'll travel to Miami tomorrow. We'll have shoot around. We'll play. I keep saying this to sound like a broken record. I don't want to play those guys that many minutes, and I gotta keep trying to figure that out.
And with McDermott starting, was it just some?
So back to Miami. Turnovers. Let's talk about that. Huge problem in Toronto for the Kings. Watching the game again, there were so many unforced turnovers, just bad ideas, late passes, flashy stuff that has to improve. Toronto took advantage of those, and that's a big reason why the Kings lost that game. Miami is not good at taking advantage of turnovers by their opponents. In fact, they are 27th in the NBA, 15.4 points per game off of their opponents' turnovers. Turnovers are going to be absolutely key tonight. You know what else they're not good at? They are good at? They're good at transition defense. So if Miami turns the ball over, getting back to the Kings and their turnover problems, the Kings have to be excellent at their decision making. They have to be smart about what they're doing, trying to push that pace, because they've got to do that. That is a trademark of this team. But Miami is fourth in the NBA at limiting points off of turnovers for their opponents, meaning if the Kings want to get out and run, they've got to do it smart. They can't do it like they did in Toronto. Also, rebounding is a key for this Miami team. Miami rebounds the ball very, very well. Fifth in the NBA. Also, they like to keep the ball in one spot defensively. They will do their best to make you play ISO. So the Kings, again, going back to looking at what they're doing, not anticipating guys being in places, they have to be absolutely intentional with the ball tonight. Johnny hopping in. Kings got to sign either Mo Harkless or Scal, because Lyles and O-Rob are playing injured, or trade either McLaughlin or Colby or Mason. Okay, well, Johnny, dude, you're like our resident GM here in the chat. A lot of those names that you just mentioned don't have a lot of value, my friend. Look at what you had to do to get rid of Davion Mitchell and get rid of Sasha's contracts. You had to give up a second-round pick to Toronto. Not a lot of value on these guys. What do you think you would have to give up to get rid of some of these guys? And for Orlando Robinson, we haven't seen him yet. So why are we making a judgment on Orlando Robinson? Colby, there's a problem there. Completely agree with you. Colby has not looked good. I have been very, very transparent about my take on Colby because I've watched a lot of Stockton basketball. I've covered Stockton. It's going to be an issue if Colby does not continue developing, which, you ask me, he actually regressed this offseason. He has not looked good. He gives up that and one when he comes into the game in Atlanta for a split second. Colby's a problem right now. You know, he's not a problem in the sense of hurting this team, but it's a roster spot for this team that could be filled by somebody else on a bench that's a little bit thin. So I appreciate it, dude, but it's so early. Our sample sizes are so small. McLaughlin, Mason Jones, come on. Mason's a two-way guy. Come on, Johnny. Johnny, you get a dinner. I get it. You guys want to improve the roster. This roster has to improve at some point. If this team continues to sputter around at 500 and your starters are playing the minutes that they are playing, yes, you are going to have to do something. We talked about it on the post game last show. People asking, you know, what's been Monty McNair's weakness during his time as GM? The last two trade deadlines. 100% the last two trade deadlines. Both teams that were either in the conference finals or NBA finals representing the Western Conference got better at the trade deadline. They were behind Sacramento at the deadline in the Mavericks and the Lakers. They didn't have to give up much to get guys that meshed with their team and put them over the top. And they were Hachimura. How do you think he could have helped this team? You could have got him for cheap. Lakers got him. Now he's a key to what the Lakers do. So he's starting for him as of right now. So anyways, that is a weakness of it. But at the end of the day, we are not even 20 games into the season. Not even 20 games. So we want to look at the Kings numbers, let you know what they do. Let's get to those in just a second. But let me remind you, halftime, Jerry will be here with us. So make sure you come back. We would love to have you. And then after the game, Napes, Ryno, we will be taking your calls, hopefully talking about a Kings victory tonight. Also, we've got additional audio from Coach Brown on De'Aaron Fox. What's everybody's take? I want to open the forum up here really quick, and you can call in if you would like. You got the link in the chat, and also you can scan the QR code. What's everybody's take on De'Aaron? Are you worried about the finger? Do you think it's affecting the shooting? What's your mindset there? Before I tell you what I see, I want to see what all of you think. So if you want to hop in on that conversation, you can. We'll continue looking at the stats and getting ready for tonight as the Kings get ready to take on the Heat in Miami. Miami, 1.5 point favorites in tonight's game. The Kings without Kevin Huerter again due to illness. Miami without Kevin Love and Jaime Jaquez. Kevin Love was expected. Jaime Jaquez popped up as questionable due to a gastrointestinal issue. And unfortunately, he is not going to be able to go for the Heat, which is fortunate for the Kings because he has been a little bit of a Kings killer in his short time in the NBA. We're brought to you tonight, the pregame show by Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland, their third location in the greater Sacramento area. It's located in the Blue Oaks Town Center out in Rockland, if you're out in that way. Also, their other location in Roseville and one off of Howe and Fair Oaks. I was just out that way last night, looking beautiful, by the way. Did you make it out for weekend brunch? Like we told you about, what about prime rib? Well, guess what? It's not too late. Take us on the go and get down to Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com and check out their Monday Wine and Dine special. 2 entrees and a bottle of wine for under $70. Also, if you're not in the mood for a full meal, happy hour, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. There's sips and tastes. They've got a little bit of everything for everyone. 60 different wines by the glass, and they'll be issuing, or they're going to be coming out soon, if you don't like to cook on the holidays, with their holiday meals. So that's why you've got to check out their website, bennettsrestaurants.com, and stay tuned to it. Troll it. Stay up to date if you do not like to cook, because you want to get your order in early. If you've got a holiday party, gathering, anything coming up, think about them as well. They've got private dining rooms that are gorgeous, all the great food, all the same great service, right there with you and your group surrounded in a beautiful setting. Love the ambiance, love the food. Prime cuts of seafood and steak and specials throughout the week. Huge thanks to Bennett's for sponsoring tonight's show. That is bennettsrestaurants.com. All right, like I said, want to hear from all of you. We'll keep running down the numbers. We know what this comes down to. Kings need to get a victory. 3-1 on this road trip feels a hell of a lot better than 2-2. I know that. Let's go to my buddy Torian. What's up, man?
What's up, Ryan? Great to hear from you, brother.
How you doing, dude?
Hey, man, I'm chilling, man. It's a beautiful day, beautiful Monday. I got my first Kings tattoo, or my Kings tattoo yesterday.
Nice.
So, super excited about that.
Hold
man.
on, let me go full screen on you. Which one? What'd you get? Let me see.
I just got the Kings logo.
There you go.
Yeah, it's got the Kings logo. Super basic, man. I've been wanting that for a little while now. So, I've been a little Kings fan since I was a kid. But Ryan, I'm really interested with what's going on with Fox, man. I feel like the last couple of years he hasn't really played like that 22-23, Fox that won, clutch player of the year. I mean, to go 0 for 11 against Toronto from the 3-point line, man. I mean, I feel like you have to have a better shot selection, and obviously with his finger kind of bothering him, I'm really interested to see why, or to hear why he shot so many threes. I mean, we know that Fox can get any shot he wants. He's the fastest player in the league. I don't know why he settles for these shots, so much. I know he's gotten so much more confident, and obviously he's working. I'm sure he's worked with Steph Curry, being on his team and stuff like that. But as far as the finger goes, I'm not really sure how much that's affecting him. If you've played sports in your life, every little injury affects someone differently. But
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with his style of play because, like I said, he's the fastest player in the league, man. He can get any shot he wants. I don't know why he's not driving to the paint more and getting those buckets and getting to the line. I don't know if you have any insight on that or like why he's really, but I'm more concerned with that, not seeing that over the last couple of years because he's so talented and I feel like he could, get any bucket he wants to in that paint area.
So Dorian, let's listen to this really quick. Here's Coach Brown on De'Aaron shooting 11 threes against the Raptors.
It's one of those nights. He's got to keep shooting them if he's open. 0 for 11 happens. He got to the free throw line 10 times. You hope that can increase as well. But I thought he took a couple of tough ones, but I thought we all took a couple of tough ones tonight, not just from the three-point line, even some tough twos that played right into their hands. And so I'm not worried about that as much as our inability to defend and our inability to handle their pressure throughout most of the night.
All right, really quick, Dorian. We're going to get back to the Kings in 1 second in this. But JWB in the chat, I'm going to abbreviate it. I can't put it on screen. In fact, you are on screen. I am not going to say it. JWB, which, by the way, how old are you now? Like 200 years old? Thanks for checking in. Glad you're good, my man. Should be in jail, by the way. But he's got the Kings 115-108. I never thought I'd hear from JWB on the pregame show, but he is here. All right, Dorian. So to De'Aaron Fox and back to that.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think De'Aaron he's picking and choosing. What I saw in the game is this. He's really good off of the catch and shoot three. I don't have an issue with him taking the catch and shoot three at any time, especially if he's open. But De'Aaron Fox's game is so much about flow. When he gets pissed off, right?
Yeah.
And then he just goes on a bender, he goes on a heater.
Yep.
Well, with his finger right now, I don't think his finger is affecting his shot, but I think his finger is affecting his handle. So depending on the matchup that De'Aaron's getting, I think that it's causing some hesitation.
Yeah.
It's causing a little bit, I don't want to say he's straying away, but I think there's maybe not as much confidence in getting to the rim against certain matchups, especially against Toronto with Davion Mitchell, who knows him so well already. Yeah. And so that is the part that I worry about. I worry about the balance being taken out of his game and the rhythm being taken out of his game. So if he doesn't have both going and you're just asking him to shoot threes, it's not his game, dude.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, Fox is very much a flow type of player. So if he knows that he's hesitating, then he needs to stop shooting those threes because you played basketball in college, right? The last thing you want to do is catch a ball, think about your shot. You want it to be flow. You want it to, not hesitate and shoot that thing, right? You have DeRozan on the team. You have Sabonis. I think Sabonis took like 10 shots last game, and he had 27 points. I think he needs to be taking more shots.
Yeah, I agree.
DeRozan took 27 shots, and he only had 23 points. I think DeRozan's shot disparity too. I was kind of disappointed with his last 2 threes that he took. That corner three, and then he took that quick three with 28 seconds left. I want to say, I can't remember, but I think he, separate conversation. But I think DeRozan needs to have better shot selection, even though he's really good and he provided us that spark, the Kings that spark at the very end of the quarter. But nonetheless, I think there's other ways that Fox can somehow get into his game without shooting so many threes. To go for 0 for 11, I know Mike Brown's going to say, he's going to stick up for his players. He's going to say, hey, man, shoot the ball, right? You're confident you're a good player, shoot the ball. But, I think if you're Fox, you need to be more emotionally aware. Like, hey, it's not falling for me tonight. I need to distribute, and I need to do something else in order for us to win this game because, I wouldn't classify this loss as, last year when they lost to the Charlotte, when they lost to the Wizards. I think, those were some crazy, bad losses. The Kings got it to overtime. But this is a Raptors team that you have to beat. The Kings are a far superior team. Obviously last year, right, coming down to the last couple of games of the season, Who knows if that's how it will end up this season? But every game matters. I'm not really with traveling from Atlanta to Toronto. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
you're a professional athlete, dude. You have the best sports dietitians. All you do is play basketball. I honestly obviously, like, you want to sleep in your whole bed and have your 8-9 hours. I get you. You got to take a nap on the plane, whatever, bro. Like, you're a professional athlete. You've been doing this for a long time now. This isn't your first time doing this. You've done it in college. Like, I'm not really about that travel nonsense going from East Coast to West Coast. I get you, but like you're playing basketball. You're a professional athlete. Like, you have access to all these different resources, and I'm sure the team flexes different times so that way you're not losing so much sleep. I get you, but I'm not really with that travel thing. Like, I think that these players, they need to win. They need to beat the Raptors. Like, I know there's going to be games during the season where the Kings are going to go in and they shouldn't have won the game and they're going to win.
Right.
It's like they're going to have games like where they should have beat the Raptors and they lost, but nonetheless, you're a better team than the Raptors and you got to win.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I totally hear you. It's one of those things. It's a tough thing. I mean, that was a big ask. That out of their schedule, I don't know that you'll find a harder travel on a back-to-back night, but they still had the game in their hand. That's the thing that's encouraging. Arturo, really quick, and I'll get you out in just 1 second. Dorian. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the point that we're trying to illustrate here. His turnovers have been high this season, and the assists have been sporadic. He's either been in double digits or he's had like one, like he had last game. He needs to have more, but I think it goes back to that handle, and I think it goes back to what's going on that hand a little bit. And I'm not one to play up these injuries, especially when you're playing through them, but when you are a point guard and that is on your left hand,
Sure.
it's a bigger issue dribbling the ball than it is shooting the ball. It is a much bigger issue dribbling the ball, and that's where we're seeing the problem right now.
Yeah.
So, and to your point, really quick, Dorian, about the nutrition and all that, yeah, they're on point. That's all being taken care of. I just think it was a weird night all around. That extended break, you're without Herter, it just had all the trappings for one of those games. But good points, my man.
Yeah, totally.
Appreciate you calling.
Sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like again, you could have all these excuses, right? Mike Brown saying play defense. This team isn't a defensive team. Like, Keon Ellis is our best defensive player, arguably. Fox is really good, but this Kings team is an offensive team, obviously, with the way it's set up. So, like, Coach Brown can keep saying, "Oh, you got to play defense. You got to play defense." Like, but like, the roster is set up for this to be an offensive team.
Yeah.
So, like, if Fox isn't stepping up, then you have Sabonis, you have DeRozan. Keegan's been inconsistent a little bit with a shot, even though he's had some pretty good numbers. Different people have to step up. Obviously, you have Malik Monk off the bench. I think Trey Lyles isn't really playing very well this season so far. I'd like to see him step up a little bit more and utilize those minutes. I really like what DeRozan has done on the mid-range, man, and especially in the free throw percentage this year. I mean, to go from last year to somewhere in the top 5, I want to say, as in regards to free throw percentage or maybe free throw attempts, probably. I mean, these guys are getting some pretty good numbers, and I think Fox is shooting over 80% this year from the free throw line, which is good. So is Sabonis. It's been really odd to see Malik Monk lose or miss free throws a little bit more often because he's not 89% free throw shooter, 90% free throw shooter, and he's been missing a lot more free throws lately over the last couple of seasons. But nonetheless, I think this Kings team they have to win, man. They have to win. And
hey, man, dude, make sure you take care of that tattoo. I have a Kings tattoo.
I know you have it in your chest.
Welcome to the club. Yeah. I got one right here on my shoulder.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Thanks.
All right, brother. Be well. All right, go
too.
Kings. Good job by Dorian. Appreciate the call. So it's gonna be. I love this fan base because not every fan base you can have these conversations where they're actually good conversations in the chat, on the phones about this team, things you guys are seeing. Like I said, you guys make this better. You are the best and most knowledgeable fans in the NBA. The Heat have the Kings number, hoping they change this. We'll see. A lot of times you're going to hear tonight, probably on the broadcast, it's a getaway game. It's a getaway game. Sometimes they're anxious to get home. I think this team coming off of what happened in Toronto, I think that that's not going to be a problem. Yes, they've been on the road for about a week and a half. So yeah, they're going to want to get home, but they're going to be dialed in. It's going to be more about creating energy. And that's why, and I have not looked because I'm on the air with you guys right now, if the starting lineup's been announced yet. But to me, this is one where I'm probably throwing Keon in for a couple of reasons. Miami is one of the worst teams in the NBA at turning the ball over. So the Kings playing in Miami, which is not a great building, very much like Atlanta, they need to create their own energy, and that needs to come from the defensive side of the ball. The Kings are great when they get in transition. We have seen better plays in transition this season than we saw all of last season. A couple of games ago where they ran a fast break and they didn't dribble the ball once. That is when you are clicking in transition. So you can force this team into turnovers in Miami. So if you can do that, because again, Miami 25th in the NBA in turnovers, then you're going to be okay. That also means you've got to take care of the ball. Now, on top of forcing the turnovers, you get 6 fouls. So if you're a Keon Ellis, if you're a Trey Lyles, if you're an Alex Len, who probably will see some minutes tonight, use your fouls. You know why? Miami's 27th in the NBA at free throw percentage. They're right around 70%. Make them earn it from the line. Get your own pace to the game, reset your defense. Obviously, you're going to have to give Jimmy Butler some different looks. Bam Adebayo. I don't think anybody on this team, this Miami team, unless they are completely cooking and it is down the stretch, there is nobody on this team that should be doubled consistently. So I don't think you'll see the looks defensively like we saw against Trey Young. If you do, that's going to worry me a little bit. But again, balance needs to come back to the offense. You need to get back to where you were. I think Dorian made a great point about DeRozan. One of the things the Kings have done so well this year, up until this point, up until the Toronto game, was keeping the offense balanced. You had 3 guys between Fox, Domas, and De'Aaron that were all 20-plus scorers, and they were all within a couple points of each other. 27 shots for DeRozan and 11 threes for De'Aaron is not balanced. It's not. And I get DeRozan was cooking. Have no problem with what he did down the stretch, but that's leaning on somebody too much. Last year, this team leaned far too much on De'Aaron Fox, far too much on Domas, on Monk, etc. Keep the balance, get back to it, and you've got to take care of the ball. Absolutely have to take care of the ball tonight. The Kings cannot afford to have mistakes, unforced turnovers. They can't have it tonight. So, and also, you gotta stay the hell away from this tonight. I already told you at the start of the show. Here's the other key. Don't go near that. You go near that, this game's over. 20-0 run, Miami, just because the Kings are going to be frozen in fright. Don't even think about going to it. Don't look at it. Don't turn its way. Leave it the hell alone. Let it sit outside. Just don't go near it. Don't go near it. If the Kings don't go near it, they'll have a chance to win this game. I can promise you. Anyways, let's get your final scores in here. Kings and the Heat coming up. Again, remember, Miami, very good on the offensive boards. The Kings have struggled this season to keep teams off of the offensive boards. How many did Toronto have? Toronto had 12. Toronto had 12 offensive rebounds. The Kings do that tonight. It's going to be a problem. The Kings have got to keep them to 1 shot and out defensively. Coach Brown, we didn't get to this yet, also talked about handling the pressure, which Miami, let me remind you, in back-to-back games, they have held their opponents to 98 points on the season. They only allow 106 points per game. Here's Coach Brown on handling the pressure. If my sound drop's going to work, my bad. Here's Coach Brown on handling the pressure.
We didn't do a good job of catching a drive. A lot of their threes happened in transition, where we didn't match up. We just kind of nonchalantly ran back and weren't talking and didn't match up with a sense of urgency, or we let them dribble drive because our closeouts weren't great, or we miscommunicated on a coverage, and so now they're getting into the paint, and we pull over to help, and then they sprayed the basketball. They played the way we want to play, tonight, and they were getting some great looks from the 3-point line. I thought we had some good looks from the three. We just didn't go, but we took a lot of tough shots. They forced us into a lot of one-on-one and a lot of tough shots that didn't go down. But when you're giving up shots the way that we're giving up shots in transition and on the glass, 43 total points. It's tough to combat that when you also have 18 turnovers for 26 points.
So the Kings got to do better there tonight. Much better, as we know. Get your final scores in here. Gramps, Wade. Oh man, scary Wade. That thing is freaky. The Wade statue reminds me of the late Bison Dele. Oh my gosh. Bison Dele references. Oh, you must be a clone, Wilson. You must be a clone. John, need to keep the 3-pointers for the Heat down. Absolutely. The Kings did a terrible job guarding the 3-point line. They can't. De'Aaron Fox, I go back to it. He gambled on 2 key plays last game defensively down the stretch, and both of them were plays that either put the game into overtime or won the game for Miami. That's not the Kings' game right now. The Kings need to communicate. They need to stick to their principles. It's fine to gamble once in a while, but you can't take that risk at that point of the game, especially on the road against a team that you should be better than. Although tonight, Miami favored by 1.5 points. I've still been looking for the starting lineup. Have not seen anybody report on it. If you guys have seen it, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Colby Jones, for what it's worth, was wearing a black jersey at shoot-around today with the starters. So for what it's worth, Colby Jones was wearing a black jersey with the starters. Does that mean Colby Jones possibly could be going into the starting lineup? I don't know. That would be a stretch. We will see. Anyways, get your scores in here. Matthew, Kings 117, 113. Still looking for it, Mike. Still looking. I do not see any news on it at the moment. Cody, 118, 112. All right. Don't forget, we are back at halftime. The one, the only Mr. Jerry Reynolds will be here at the half. He likes these early games. Makes it easy for him. Can't blame him. He'll be talking the first 24 minutes of basketball with us, and then post-game, Grant and I will wrap it up and open it up to all of you like we enjoy doing. So make sure that you come back. Kobe starting over. So Mike, really quick, Coach Brown, I don't have a problem with Malik not starting in place of Kevin Huerter. I don't have a problem with that. Now, if it was De'Aaron Fox, I would have a problem with it. But you gotta, if Colby Jones ends up starting this game, you gotta step back for a second. It's starting. It's not finishing. It is not finishing. So just like Doug McDermott, he started the first quarter, started the third quarter, and that was the end of his run. Coach Brown is obviously looking for somebody that can, and this Miami team is different than the Toronto team, so you have to take that into account. And like I said, use your 6 fouls. They are bad at the free throw line. Send them there. And Colby, he's not going to get a ton of minutes. I don't know. I'm looking at what Miami starts and wondering what you do there with Colby. I don't know. The Malik thing, though, I don't have a huge problem with. I don't. Coach Brown, again, he said he did not want to disturb both the starting lineup and the bench. And he also thought Doug could maybe knock in a couple shots and keep the spacing the same. So he only wanted to disturb one of the 2 units. Clearly, because the bench has been struggling, That's what he doesn't want to disturb. He thought the bench started to get it going. Malik did last game, but remember what I told you on this pregame show? I had talked to some people, and one of the adjustments that they were talking about with that second unit is making sure, yes, like Herder is still out. The game starts in the game starts at 5:15, excuse me. So we started early today. We've still got plenty of time to go on the pregame show, but we're not going to go much longer. So now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I talked to somebody with the team or around the team, and what they told me was they thought part of the bench unit, besides Trey Lyles getting more aggressive in finding his places, not just behind the 3-point line, which we saw him do last game, but was also getting Sabonis and Monk on the floor at the same time. And we saw that last game. And so that is what I'm more concerned about. I want to see those same rotations rather than being concerned about who's going to start at that 2 position and get what. What did Doug play last night or a couple of nights ago? Doug played 15 minutes. Yeah. And McLaughlin got 5 minutes. So I want to make sure that back end does not get disturbed. So I don't have a problem with Coach Brown's thinking here. Let me know if you guys have a problem with it. Let's see. Yes, the game starts at 5:15. Colby does nothing well. He's such a okay. Colby has had a rough preseason. I don't think he had a great offseason. I don't. But he's so young in his journey. And remember, he was not a lottery pick. He's a second-round pick. Second-round pick. So he's on a 4-year contract. He's getting time in Stockton too. I don't know what your expectation of Colby is. If Devin Carter came out of the gate and was in the same place that Colby Jones is today, then I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's ring the alarm bells. But this is a second-round pick. So I agree. He has not done anything great. Some guys, the game slows down for. Let me give you a great example. Dalton Connect. The game is not too fast for him. In fact, Dalton Connect, if you talk to some people around the league, said that he fell in the draft because of his age. I would tell you the guys that come into the NBA with a little bit more seasoning, those are the guys where the game slows down earlier for them. And so, with Colby, the game just has not slowed down yet to me. It's too fast for him. It is. And so that's going to come with reps and experience. So anyways, I'm not ready to make that judgment on him yet. JWB, I'm from the old days when games started at a regular time. What is this 5:15 business? I have no idea. This was a 4:30 tip. Something changed. Something changed because this was a 4:30 tip earlier today. Unless I'm wrong. Help me out here. Did they change the time of this game? Cheering from Australia. What's up, Bloat? How you doing, Anthony? That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in. It is the end of summer in Australia right now? You're wrapping up summer right now? Oh no, you're wrapping up winter. You're going to summer because you're opposite of us. Yes, you're going to summer. It's going to be the start of summer. There you go. Good stuff. Colby reminds you of Justin Jackson. No, he does not remind me of Justin Jackson. He cannot shoot the ball like Justin Jackson could. Justin Jackson was a natural shooter, although he did not make as many or convert as many as he should have. Let's see. Could the change be due to weather? I don't know. Am I going crazy here on the air? This game was supposed to start at 4:30. That is so weird. Game time change due to election tomorrow? Okay, now we're just getting unconfirmed reports. You know what? You know why the game time changed? Somebody from the Kings looked at that damn statue. I bet somebody passed out. They're getting medical attention. I told you at the start of the show, key to this game, do not look at that statue. Don't go near that statue. if you are the Kings or anybody in the organization, somebody go check on the G-Man. I hope the G-Man did not go up and visit the statue. What is going on? This game was supposed to start at 5 or 4:30. It's bizarre. The starters with Malik have one of the best net ratings in the NBA. Yes, they do. Yep. The Kings coming into Wade knew it all along. See, do you think he knew it all along? I'm willing to have this conversation. I think he did too. Yeah. I'm starting to think he did. That dude just has a weird sense of style. He's got a different sense of style. Some of these dudes do. You see it all the time in the gear they show up to in the arena. Dwayne used to wear those like dress pants that turned into shorts, right? I think it's a weird kind of thing. Yeah, I'm with you. Or his wife was like, "Oh, honey, that looks great." And like he's like, "No, it doesn't. No, honey, I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks, honey. You keep it that way, honey. But no, honey, keep it." It could be that situation. Don't underrate it. Go look at the start game times for every game tonight. A game starts every 15 minutes. This is weird. JWB says it was definitely the statue. Kimball. Patrick, what's up, dude? I got to acknowledge Patrick.
Acknowledge me.
When the Knicks play at Miami, it's usually 7:30 unless it's a national game. Yeah, this is bizarre. Weird. I feel okay. Did anybody look at this earlier? Maybe my eyes deceive me. Sometimes when a word is spelled wrong, but you still read it the right way, like maybe my eyes deceived me. I thought this was a 4:30 tip. And I'm pretty accurate when I'm checking the schedule. That's crazy. I felt like that changed. Anyways, you're getting. It's the statue. It is the damn statue. We need to take this down. Go look at the start times. Yeah, we got that. Patrick. All right. Well, we've got some extra time. If there's anything you want to talk about with this one, we can talk again a little bit about what the Heat did last game against the Wizards. They beat them 118-98. You get 18 from Jimmy Butler, who's going to get that assignment? Keegan Murray. And then you've got Bam Adebayo, 32, Tyler Hero, 15, 12 for Terry Rozier against Rozier. Sorry, I can't talk right now. Against the Wizards. The Heat's bench, really interesting. Alec Burks is the one that gets the most run. Ex-King, by the way. He scored 15 last game against the Wizards. And watch for him. He was 5 for 7 from beyond the three-point line last game. So the Kings definitely have to guard that line a little bit better. Jaime Jaquez, we talked about it at the start of the game. He is out tonight. He gave them 25 minutes last game, and I think that is huge. The statue inspires you? How does the statue inspire you? Derek, what does it inspire you to do? Bad art? Does it inspire you to staple a banana to a canvas and try to sell it for like $60,000? What does that statue inspire you to do, Derek? It's got to be inspires you to go to the bathroom, inspires you not to eat anything because you're nauseated. What could possibly? Does it inspire you? Does that make you think you could be an artist, Derek? Derek, do you think you could be a professional artist now? It inspires you to climb a mountain. I see where you're going with that. All right. I'll give you one there. It inspires you to vomit. It inspires me to do something evil. Somebody put it in the chat. They said Lawrence Fishburne. That's pretty straight on. It's almost like Isn't it kind of like if, like, you remember the Austin Powers movies, right? You remember Fat Bastard? I'm not calling anybody a fat bastard. It was a character in the movies. Or you know what? That's a bad example. I'm gonna take that one away. You guys remember Dodgeball? And you remember White Goodman? You know, we're Globo Jim, we're better than you, and you know it. You know how he gets like really heavy at the end of the movie and he's sitting on his couch? Isn't that statue the equivalent of if Dwayne Wade got crazy heavy and started balding? Now, minus the muscles. So sub those muscles out on that statue because Dwayne never had muscles like that up top. And, maybe put a milkshake between his arm, kind of like White Goodman, a slice of pizza, whatever you might want to do. Then I can kind of see some Dwayne Wade there. Maybe Dwayne didn't brush his teeth for like 2 years during that time as well. I could see it working there. Yeah, it inspires you to drink. All right. Derek wants to climb K2. Oh my gosh. We're coming off the rails. 5:15 start for this one. Colby Jones in a black uniform during shoot around with the starters. Take it for what it's worth as we still await word on who will start for the Kings tonight. No Jaime Jaquez, no Kevin Herter. If you're just joining us now, we're going to take this hideous thing off the screen. I mean, it is bad. It is bad. We're going to go back really quick. Listen to some audio. This was Coach Brown after the Raptors game.
I thought their pressure, their aggressiveness bothered us. We had 18 turnovers for 26 points, and that was huge. I thought they in the two hustle categories that are on the stat sheet in terms of second chance points and fast break points. I mean, it wasn't even close. They outscored us 43 to 29, 27 fast break points, 15, 16 second chance points. That's tough to overcome when you lose both those categories and you also turn the ball over the way we did. And then, like I said, you give Toronto credit. I thought they forced us into taking some tough shots. It was a real stagnant game for us, a lot of one-on-one and a lot of tough shots by our guys. And, you give, like I said, Toronto credit. Boucher had a game off the bench and Agbaji had a game too. So,
hey Lids, how you doing tonight? Points in the paint last game. The Kings actually won it 54-50. Believe it or not. I don't know that will happen tonight with Miami, but I do know the turnovers are huge, and they've got to turn Miami over to and be efficient when the Kings get in transition. Very important. Get Miami to the line. Bad at the free throw line, 27th in the NBA there. And again, somebody said De'Aaron's got to have more than one assist. I agree, but he's got to have less than 3 turnovers. He cannot have his season average now is over 4 turnovers a game. That has to be better. So Kevin will be fine. That whole thing, it's been around now. There's things for it depending on whether you take them or not. So it's one of those things. It's a basketball season. What you hope for, Lydia, is that it doesn't spread to the rest of the team. That is the smart thing. Anyway, so we're going to get out. We'll give you about 30 minutes before the game to go grab something to eat. Remember, get to Bennett's. I told you about them earlier. Happy hour still for another hour and 15 minutes, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. There's sips and tastes. Also, you've got the Monday night wine and dine special, 2 entrees and a bottle of wine under $70. Check it all out at bennettsrestaurants.com. All right, we're going to get out. We're back at halftime. Join us. I swear the time of this tip changed. I swear it did. This is bizarre. I am sorry. I saw 4:30. This is weird. I mean, I could carry the show still if you guys want to keep going, but That is bizarre. Miami, 1.5 favorites. No Jaime Jaquez, no Kevin Love, no Herter. We know that. We just covered that. But halftime, Jerry Reynolds will be here with us, and Napes and I wrap up the show tonight at the end of the game. Come back. Join us. We will be taking your calls and hopefully talking about a Kings victory. Kings got to win this one. Come back 3-1 on this road trip. We go by 5-game sample sizes around here. So right now, the Kings are 0-1 in their second 5-game sample size of Bane. The statue is messing with me, dude. I'm telling you. Totally messing with me. Barbecue lit, light the beam. Any NFL talk? What do you want to talk about? Chris Olave, that was scary. I mean, there's a lot to talk about in the NFL. I'll probably leave that to Napes, though. I don't want to go too far off the rails. That's his thing. Adam says keep it going. Well, how about you guys keep it going? You want to call the show? Call in right now. Love to hear from you. I'll keep it going a few more minutes. Put the link back in the chat. And NFL, you got a game tonight. That's an interesting game, by the way. You got an undermanned Tampa Bay team coming into KC. KC, who just rolls, has been rolling, playing good football, playing ugly but winning. What does that, who are you taking in that one? Baker Mayfield, it has all the trappings of a game where you're going to get some attitude from Baker that's going to rub off on the rest of the team. I think it'll be close. I do think it will be close tonight. But how do you go? How do you go against the Chiefs right now? You'd be an idiot too. You'd be an absolute idiot. Niner fan, how you guys feeling about your bye week? Christian McCaffrey, does it change much? I know we got lots of Niners fans here waiting for it. You guys are talking food. All right, we're going to get out. I'm going to go get our times adjusted on our shows. Again, keys to the game. I'm going to go back to it really quick. Stay the hell away from the statue. That is first and foremost. Do not go near that damn thing. You go near that damn thing, you are not going to have a chance to win tonight. So stay away from the statue. You know what probably happened is Kevin Herter looked at the statue online, and then the nausea just came over him, thinking that I'm going to be in the same city as that thing. And he got super anxious. No way he could play through it. I respect that. If that's why Kevin's out, if that's the illness, that is a legitimate illness. Totally. So stay away from the statue. Also, the Kings, the assist. The Kings have to be better with their assist to turnover ratio. It was really bad in Toronto. 21 assists to 18 turnovers. You can't have that. You cannot have that tonight. You've also got to put some pressure on this Heat team. You got to keep them off the boards. They are 5th in the NBA on the boards. Bam is a huge problem down there. Don't let Bam think he's Shaq. Do not let him think he is Shaq tonight. And also the transition game. The Kings have to be smart in transition. Miami is 4th in the NBA limiting points off of turnovers for their opponents. So if you are the Kings, use your fouls, get them to the free throw line. They're 27th in the NBA at shooting free throws, and guard the 3-point line. Stay in front of your man. Get your rotation right. Trey Lyles, be aggressive again. Get yourself into the game. Get to the rim like he did in Toronto. And then I talked about it last game, Sabonis and Monk. You absolutely need a extended period of time where those two are on the court together. You saw it in Toronto. You need to see it again tonight. So, all right, you guys enjoy the game. We'll be back halftime with Jerry. Post game, we can't end with that statue up. Period. End of story. Also, Kings Court will be back tomorrow. So make sure that you come back. Can't wait to do another Kings Court with all of you. But halftime, Jerry, post game, right here with Grant and I. Looking forward to it. 5:15 tip, Miami, 1.5 favorites. David, you want to be acknowledged this late in the show? You just pop in. You just think I acknowledge anybody, David?
Acknowledge me.
I got you, buddy. You guys are all making me hungry. So get out of here. Come back at halftime. We know what the Kings need to do. De'Aaron Fox needs to be better with the ball. Has to be better with the ball. More balanced offensive approach. Come out and get Keegan Murray into it right away. Get Keegan into it right away. All right, we're out of here. Make it a good one. See you at the half. 24 minutes. We will be back after 24 minutes of NBA basketball tipping at 5:15 from Miami. Go Kings. Light the